Hello everyone, my name is Peter, welcome to another video, and before I get started with this one, I just need to say a few words on this whole George Floyd and Black Lives Matter and just racism in general situation that is, spreading itself across the globe right now. Not to sound too much like Logic, but being a mixed person from the UK, it's quite difficult for me to really identify with the struggles of black people from America because I just don't share their experiences. Racism where it exists in the UK is so much more subtle, so much more on the micro level than it is in the US. So maybe my perspective on the US tragedies is not as enlightening as maybe someone who is from the US and is a person of colour. However, there will be some links in the description of this video that will just link you to some helpful information about this whole situation. But anyways, let's get into the video. Okay, so massively popular UK YouTuber, influencer, professional boxer, and of course rapper KSI just released his debut album Dissimulation like 2 weeks ago now from the recording of this video. Yeah, 15 days from the recording date of this video is the date when Dissimulation came out, and KSI has been releasing music for quite a few years. I mean, he has a couple EPs under his belt. He had that Keep Up EP and the New Age EP. I can't remember what years both of those are from. Now, I probably should have researched that before I hit the record button, but it's fine, shut up. But it's tracks such as Lamborghini and of course Keep Up, which make most people, including myself, not take KSI seriously as an artist. He's always been stuck in that bubble of, well, he's just a YouTube artist. He's not an actual artist. You can tell in his amateurish flows, in his, really cheap by the numbers production, that this is not an actual real serious artist. Well, that's what I thought, at least until the release of Dissimulation, because I am proud to report that JJ is now a real artist. At least I view him as a real artist. And don't get it twisted, Dissimulation is not a perfect album. In fact, it's a very flawed album, and I'll be digging into some of the flaws in a little bit. But yeah, Dissimulation has made me take JJ seriously as an artist. When you compare JJ to some of the other popular YouTubers that have tried to venture into music unsuccessfully, such as Rice Gum and Jake Paul, it's so obvious that JJ is leaps and bounds ahead of both of these guys in just about every facet you could compare them. He has way better flows, better lyrics, making music that people can actually enjoy rather than just laugh at, and he seems like he actually wants to do this on a professional level rather than just releasing a couple, novelty one-off tracks for the banter. Anyway, with Dissimulation, it sees JJ try and essentially feed into the trap scene that has been dominating popular music for the last decade. And after listening to Dissimulation a couple of times, I do think JJ's carved out a place for himself in hip-hop. But do I think that he's doing anything that really makes him stand out? Not really. I don't think JJ has an element in his music that makes him really stand out, like some of the contemporaries that he's pulling from, such as Travis Scott, Young Thug, and of course Migos. Incidentally, Offset features on the song Cap. JJ doesn't have that unpredictable and off-the-wall vocal delivery that someone like Young Thug is known for, and that's literally what makes him stand out in hip-hop. That's what most people know him for. Comparing him to someone like Travis Scott as well, he doesn't have the dense, layered and atmospheric production that Travis Scott has behind him. And I know JJ doesn't produce his own stuff and Travis does, but still, Travis also very artistically employs auto-tune into his music, and you can find these things culminate together on the album Rodeo, which if you haven't listened to it, please do. It's an amazing album. Now, my point with all this is not that JJ needs to copy Young Thug or Travis Scott or Migos to be successful. He just doesn't have a quality that makes his music stand out like these guys clearly do. Now, with all this being said, there were actually a couple songs on the album that I did genuinely enjoy. For example, the lead single, Down Like That, which I'm sure you've heard by now. I do really like the Rick Ross and Lil Baby features. They do add quite a dynamic edge to the song. SX does come through with a really grand beat as well as a really catchy and melodic hook. JJ's verse isn't bad as well. JJ actually holds his own with Rick Ross and Lil Baby here, which I do admire. There's also songs like Undefeated and Killer Killer, where JJ just sounds really confident. He sounds, you know, really composed. I think he works really well on this like upbeat trap vibe. I've also got to give a nod to the song Domain. JJ sounds really aggressive and confrontational on this song, and he also comes through with some pretty nice flows. Now, of course, there were going to be a handful of songs that I really don't care for. For example, the song Cap with Offset. I think the beat on this song is so flat and so bland. I also think the hook is really weak on this song. Now, this one might be potentially controversial. Now, please don't kill me, hardcore KSI fans, but I'm not really into Houdini all that much. Now, before I get the literal mob of KSI fans smashing on my door, let me say, I don't mind the hook from Swarms. It is quite catchy. JJ also does sound kind of confident here. However, I am just so sick of hearing rappers cross over into this boring, watered down Jamaican dancehall trend. The track also just sticks out like a sore thumb on the track list. There is no other song that returns to this kind of style. And I know JJ has said in previous videos he likes to switch up his style and aim for a range of genres. However, this song just feels out of place. Also, can we talk about Tion Wayne's verse? Why is it so amateurish and cringy? Maybe that's just my opinion. I'm sure there are plenty of people who love Tion Wayne's verse, but anyway, there's also the closing track, Millions, and this is one of the songs where JJ really tries his hand at singing, and clearly it's not his strongest tool just yet. I mean, at least he's trying. At least he's trying. I'll give him an A for effort. JJ's hook on this song is just so sleepy and so flat, and the off-key melodies in the beat are very, very off-putting. Now, I do like the fact that JJ's trying to get a bit more introspective on this song. He's really opening up about, you know, the whole Deji situation, among other things. However, there's really not a lot of compelling lyrics or songwriting on this song that keeps me interested. JJ's flow across this track is also just quite awkward and quite choppy. This song just isn't put together that well. I'm sorry, it just isn't. Anyway, moving on. The fact that I have taken the time to listen to a KSI album from front to back with no distractions and analyse it in the way I have, and in the way many other critics have as well, is a testament to just how far he's come since the early days of Lamborghini. And he has really come a long way from making novelty songs about how expensive his car is to making a genuine set of listenable tracks. But that's all this album is to me. It's just listenable. It's not that inventive musically. JJ's not the greatest lyricist. He's not that great of a rapper from a technical standpoint. The content of the lyrics is pretty cliche. JJ's just bragging about money and fame and status. Dissimulation's not really a cohesive experience, to be honest. It's just more of a set of semi-decent rap songs that if they were on in the background in a certain setting, maybe I could appreciate them. However, when I really give it all my attention, there's not that much here to unpack. You've got to remember, this guy went from making FIFA videos in his room to producing a high-grade, high-budget studio album, and he's selling out shows across the nation right now. There's a lot of potential for growth, is what I'm saying, and JJ, I really do hope he can continue to hone his skills in music and continue to feed his passion for music that he clearly has, and maybe, just maybe, he'll drop the best hip-hop album of all time very soon. Yes, maybe that's it. Maybe we're just a couple years away from KSI or Legit ABT releasing the next Illmatic. Stay tuned. No, but seriously, that's all from me today. Thank you very much for watching. What did you think of Dissimulation? Am I completely wrong in everything I said? Is it really the hip-hop album of the year so far, and I'm just too stubborn to admit that? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.